вітати наших вельмишановних гостей, наших учасників, що ви сьогодні доєдналися до цього насправді дуже важливого обговорення. Насамперед, кілька таких організаційних моментів. У нас сьогодні працює синхронний переклад, тому кому потрібен переклад, будь ласка, натисніть на 3 крапки внизу і оберіть ту мову, той канал, яким зручно вам буде послуговуватися. Також одразу велике прохання до наших спікерів. У нас сьогодні регламент 5 хвилин, тому, будь ласка, я буду вас просити і по можливості навіть перебивати, не ображайтеся, бо дійсно у нас дуже багато тем для обговорення і нам дуже важливо почути думки усіх. Наша сьогоднішня онлайн-дискусія – це
online discussion
обговорення
to
результатів
discuss the results of the partnership forum results, the outcomes for Ukraine. Should mention that this event happening within the framework of the project support for Ukrainian National Forum 24 implemented by the Institute with this financial support from European Union. I'm not going to take much time for the organizational issues. I would pass the floor to the national coordinator of Ukraine National Partnership Forum, Ruslan Habildu. Thank you very much, Irina. I would like to thank our friends, real friends from Europe who is with us today, who during the war with Russia, bloody war against Ukraine, against European civilization, stay with us. Thanks when Ukraine supports us. First, it's very important to feel that we're not alone, that we have friends whom we can rely on. As Irina mentioned, this year's summit of the Forum was very important for us and Ukraine National Platform. Lots of hope on the resolution of this summit. We do hope that we all together will be able to use this resolution for advocacy campaign of our interests, Ukraine to stand through this war, and we would be integrated in European Union soon. We understand that the time is limited. Today, the composition European Commission was approved. So von der Leyen, we understand that Ukraine during this convention would become a member of European Union. So we're working on this, and we do want to have a fruitful cooperation with you all, that the entrance, this membership becomes, it would not be delayed for years and years. And the upcoming 2 years, we have a clear vision how Ukraine, or once, when Ukraine would become an integral part of the European Union. Ukraine National Platform unites more than 150 organizations which are interested in EU integration. Ukraine leading organizations, very strong, and we are happy that the resolution, which was considering all our ideas, proposals, it reflects the position of the civil society, which we currently have. We will try to deliver through all possible channels, talk about our priorities, and would articulate information about the needs of Ukraine. And we do expect to get your support from European Parliament, European Commission, and first of all, probably the most important, the support from the society of our partners from European Union countries, in order to that our voice would be heard, voice of Ukrainian civil society would be heard. We try to be very active with Ukrainian authorities to promote negotiations on membership of Ukraine into Europe. Many of our members are members of the working groups who start to work, and thus we hope that civil society is is the element which combines, which brings all the stakeholders together, European authorities, Ukrainian authorities, and Ukrainian society, European Union society, to a soon victory in the war and our EU integration. So I would like to pass the microphone back to Irina. Thanks all the
Руслане,
participants
щиро
being
вам
with us.
дякую за
Thank you very
такий
much,
оптимізм.
Ruslan, for
Дійсно,
such
всі
an
сподіваємося,
optimism.
що
Indeed, we do
порядок
hope
денний
that the
східного
agenda
партнерства,
of
який
Eastern
збудуть
Partnership,
окреслений в межах цього саміту, він зможе
highlighting
дати
the framework
поштовх для
of the
країн
summit,
регіону, які
would
слідують
give the
своєму власне
push
європейському такому
to other
вибору, своєму
countries which
європейському
made a choice on the
напрямку.
European path.
Зараз я хочу
Now,
передати
I would like to
слово пану
invite
Рейнісу Познаксу,
Reinis
який є
Poznaks,
членом
who is the
Європейського
member of
парламенту.
European
Пане
Parliament.
Рейніс, Європейський парламент насправді
Reinis,
прийняв
European
дуже
Parliament actually
багато важливих
adopted
рішень
a
на
lot,
підтримку
made lots
України
of
з
decisions to
моменту
support
повномасштабного
Ukraine
вторгнення
since the beginning of
Росії до
full-scale
України. І
invasion.
резолюція форуму
And
закликає
the
Європейський
resolution from the
Союз
partners,
приймати
the European
сміливіші
Union,
рішення насправді на
encourages
підтримку України, в тому
decisions to
числі щодо
support
її
Ukraine
швидшого вступу
during
до Європейського Союзу.
soon
Чи можливо збільшити
accession.
підтримку для
Is it
імплементації
possible
законодавства
to
Європейського Союзу в
increase
Україні?
the support for
Як на
the
вашу думку?
implementation of EU legislation in Ukraine?
Доброго дня. Я українську
Hello.
мову розумію, но
I
над
do
говором
understand Ukrainian, but I'm working
so I
on
will
speaking.
speak in English if that's okay. I am basically also more from civil society. That's how I began my way to European Parliament. So I understand very well how big and important role is for civil society in every country, not only European Parliament. Basically, I think it's the basics of the country is civil society. About European Parliament, the good thing is that in all discussions here, when we talk about Ukraine, and we agreed on that we already have in mind that Ukraine is the member of European Union. So that's the way how we already think and talk about Ukraine, despite it's not yet formally happened. But about the more support, it's a big struggling also for me in the European Parliament, that Parliament itself, it's more like influencer. It's the decisions Parliament itself can make is very limited, but we can push the decision makers to make the right decisions, and that's what we are trying to do. Luckily today the Commission was approved, so that means that we can start to do the real work. Yeah, and I still think the first and main thing is what we all have to do is win the war, and then everything will be just technical details which we can solve, I think, quite easily. About the Ukraine becoming a member, the big, actually the challenges for European Union itself with that is not maybe even bigger than for Ukraine, because everybody understand that when Ukraine when Ukraine joined the European Union, also quite big reforms will happen in European Union itself, and so that's why even now it's very difficult to say. I think we will need to help to each other to do this process successful. And I think the best help you can get from the member countries which joined the European Union not so long time ago, like Latvia, for example, or the Baltic states, because it's very difficult process. Very many things have to be done, and the best help you can get from the countries who did this way not so long time ago. I know that Andris will also help you, will be ready to help you for that. because there is also a lot of I won't say mistakes, but probably mistakes which you can do in this process, and you have the priority to avoid them, keeping in mind, or for example, Latvian experience in many things. Yeah, that's all. What can I say now? But yeah, as I said, there is no discussions about will be Ukraine in European Union, but only when it will happen.
Пане Райнце, щиро вам дякуємо за
Thank you
такий
very
оптимізм.
much
Дякую,
for
що ви
your
наголосили, що
optimism.
наш
Thank
шлях
for
є спільним як
stressing
для
that
України,
this
так
is a
і
joint
для
task
Європейського
for
Союзу. Ми
Ukraine, for
спільно повинні
European
працювати
Union.
над
We
цим.
should
І в мене
work
на правах модератора
together.
одне
And as
питання
a
до вас,
moderator,
як
I have
до
one
представника
question to you
громадянського
as the
суспільства,
representative of
чергового
civil
гостя від
society,
самого
which
початку.
you
Коли
stressed
ви
at the very
важите
beginning.
таких 3
Maybe
рекомендації для
3
представників нашого
recommendations
громадянського
from your
суспільства,
side to
української
the
національної платформи,
representatives,
як нам
Ukrainian
ефективно
national
рухатися
platform,
в цьому
how
напрямку?
we should efficiently move forward.
Oh, it's difficult to say three specific. I don't know. Just do the things. It's very difficult to give some specific advice. Communicate with people. Ask questions. Different countries have different experience, and you can get the good out of every experience. So I think the basic thing is just communicate and don't be afraid to ask for other experiences, and I'm quite sure that everybody will help and share their experience with a great pleasure, because as I said, the main challenge is actually to avoid mistakes, and we know mistakes we have done. Other countries probably did other mistakes, because the way to European Union, it's not like straight without possibilities and options. You just have to find the best for Ukraine. That's it.
Надзвичайно дякую вам
Thank
за
you
вашу
very
відвертість.
much for
Повірте, що
your
для нас
openness.
це
Believe
дуже
me,
важливо
for us, it's
чути.
very
Що
important
ж,
to
ми
hear.
рухаємося
Let's move
далі.
on.
І зараз
Let's
я
move
хочу
on. And
звернутися
now I
до
would
пана Танела
like
Танга,
to
який
invite
є
Tanel
керівником
Tang,
групи з
who is
питань
the team
координації
lead
політики
for
служби України,
Policy
Європейська
Coordination Ukraine
комісія.
Service from European
І, власне, моє
Commission. And
питання
my
звучить
question is
наступним чином.
basically
Європейська комісія
European
нещодавно опублікувала
Commission
звіт про
recently
розширення
published a
Європейського
report about the
Союзу і прогрес
expansion of
України.
European
В
Union,
цьому звіті
and Ukrainian
оцінюється досить
progress in
обережно.
this
У
report is
резолюції
assessed
містяться заклики
cautiously.
Європейського Союзу
This
забезпечити участь
to
українського громадянського
ensure
суспільства в переговорах,
participation
а
of
також в
civil
різних
society in
програмах,
negotiation,
які
different programs,
які
encouragement for that,
повинні підтримувати
which
Україну. Чи
should
бачите ви можливості для
support
збільшення і посилення участі
to
громадянського
strengthen civil
суспільства?
society participation in this process?
Пане Танел, Танг?
Yes. Good afternoon. Pleasure to be a part of this discussion, and always good to engage into discussions with civil society organizations, particularly from Ukraine, but also from the European Union side. Look, I think that this is something where you should not have any doubts that we will work very closely with civil society when it comes to the accession process. Of course, when we look into the formal processes, then the formal processes are between the European Commission and the Ukrainian government, and also when the European Commission represents the European Union, those positions usually they have to be approved by all the member states or the council. But having said that, civil society organizations will play a crucial role, And we have even put this into the negotiation framework that we agreed for the negotiations with Ukraine. So it's very much, of course, also for you to fulfill this role and then see what you can do. But the general expectation is that Ukraine will engage with civil society. Ukrainian government will engage with civil society throughout the process and on all the areas. And then we also are quite pleased to see that this is already happening and that dialogue meetings are taking place. And then, of course, in some areas, civil society competencies or the expertise is particularly highly valued, not only by the Commission, but also by the Ukrainian authorities. Let's say the work done on the anti-corruption and then also on the judiciary reform. So I look quite optimistically how the Ukrainian civil society is going to be involved in this process. I mean, whether you call it how we increasing the role or keeping the high level, I think to me this is not even that relevant. I think the role is definitely going to be there, and I think that let's just jointly make sure that this is happening. Now, I think that you a little bit provoked me, Irina, with your opening statement, saying that the European Commission report on the enlargement and particularly on Ukraine did not report on a very good progress in Ukraine, or at least this is how I understood your opening introduction. I would a little bit like to disagree with this, because I think that the report that we issued about a month ago actually showed quite a good level of progress on the Ukrainian side. Of course, it's also clear that membership in the EU is maybe not realistic immediately, because there are clearly gaps in alignments in different areas. But overall, the report shows that the progress is taking place, and is taking place despite very challenging context of the ongoing Russian war of aggression. I'd just like to bring a couple of examples. We have the possibility to put all the progress into different scales. Good progress, some progress, limited progress, no progress. And also we can say, and sometimes we do say for some countries, if there has been backsliding or going back or reverse, not progress, but actually regress compared to previous year. And when I look at all the areas, then the way we assessed Ukraine this year was that there was a good progress in 6 areas. 22 areas, some progress, limited progress in 11 areas, and no progress in 1 area. And there was no area where we could say that there was backsliding. So to me, this is quite a good proof that actually we assessed Ukrainian development in the EU accession rather positively. I also want to say last thing on the progress report, and then I turn back over to you, Irina. What was interesting, it seems, to many Ukrainian interlocutors, both on the government side, but also on the parliamentary opposition side, and also in media, is the way we assess the overall political space for opposition, to independent media, and also for the civil society, because there were some elements, like for example our a bit indirect criticism of telemarathon project and some other things where we were a bit maybe more straightforward than previous times. But at the same time, we also recognize that there is a martial law in Ukraine, and that the martial law overall has been implemented proportionally. So I think that we put forward some issues where Ukraine still needs to work, but I don't think there is anything even that negative that I could mention here. With this, Irina, I hand the floor back to you. I just want to say as well that I have to leave a little bit earlier the meeting because I've been urgently called for the meeting. But I will be anyway all the time with you with my headphones and then try to intervene as much as possible also on the second part of our discussion. Thank you so much.
Дуже вам дякуємо.
Thank you very
Будемо завжди
much.
на зв'язку. Дякую
Let's
вам
stay in
за
touch.
підтримку і вам
Thank you for the support.
гарного дня і гарної
Have a
зустрічі.
nice day with all your
Дуже вам
meetings.
дякую насамперед за
I would
те,
like to
що
thank you
ви
for
відкриваєте для
you
нас,
are
власне, ці
opening
ті
for
речі, на
us
які нам потрібно
the
звернути увагу
things
і
which
де
we
ставати
should
кращими. Тому що
look
для нас це
at,
також дуже
where
важливо,
we should become better,
ті
the
речі,
areas
на
for
яких,
improvement,
власне,
because
акцентуються в цьому звіті. Тому я
which
настільки
is
обережно
important. So
намагалася
I
поставити
try to
своє
be
питання,
cautious
власне,
with
до
my
вас.
question to
Що ж, ми
you.
рухаємося далі.
Okay, let's move
І
on.
я хочу зараз
And
запросити
I
до
would like to
мікрофона
invite
Андріса Гобінша,
Andris
який,
Gobinch,
власне, є членом
who is the
Європейського
member of
економічного і
European
соціального
Economic and
комітету.
Social
Моє
Committee.
питання буде наступним,
My
пане Андрисе, до
question
вас.
to
Європейський
Andres,
економічний і соціальний комітет
European
є
Social and Economic
надійним
Committee is
партнером
a
українського
strong,
громадянського
reliable partner
суспільства.
for Ukraine and civil
Питання
society.
насправді
And
наступне. Чи можливо найближчим часом
what
постійне
is
членство українських
possible in the
представників в цьому
nearest
комітеті?
future, the participation of Ukrainian members within this committee?
Thank you very much, Irina, for inviting me. Especially gratitude to Ruslan and to Cynthia, who helped me to be here and participate. I'm paralleling two civil society events here in Ukraine and next door in Paris, where we are screening civil society rule of law issues, which even in a state as France are not perfect, and we're looking on them and preparing some recommendations. To answer to your question, yes, it is going to be soon, but the great thing about the Economic and Social Committee, as you know, is that we have already the chance, or actually Ukrainian colleagues are already now participating in the preparation of our documents, of our opinions for the future of the European Union at this stage. We are the first institution which have done this. There is a lot of interest from the European Parliament from other side to do the same, or to look how this works in our house, and then to take the best practice over. But I think already from this practice, there are some lessons learned which I would be more than happy to share with you, because of course at this stage, as Ukraine hasn't even really started the big negotiations, it is it's not the official voting rights which Hungarian representatives have, but actually, in fact, as almost no decision in our house is voted, but everything is done on the basis of good arguments. Already now, the Ukrainian colleagues, as also colleagues from other candidate countries, have a great chance to impact and have impacted already several of our documents. In a second step, as soon as negotiations will really kick off and start, and everything will be in full scale, also in the Economic and Social Committee, there will be a more formal cooperation mechanism with civil society in Ukraine. It is called a Joint Consultative Committee. That is a way of then going more in details and more even serious tasks, which are then provided by the European institutions. And in this then framework, which will most probably be a good continuation of the current ambassador or enlargement candidate members program, we will work forward to have a fully fledged membership then from the Ukrainian side. What I would like to say, and I'm very grateful that Reinis Poznaks already mentioned that there is a lot of mistakes that you can learn from in Latvia. We made a lot of mistakes in Latvia when preparing our negotiation. And for some of you, it will not be anything new, but please allow me to remind the things. I think a key issue from civil society side, and that was a little bit missing in the resolution which you had, is to set up a structure which allows as wide civil society involvement as possible. We did not do that in Latvia. And that is a mistake which we are still now, 20 years after EU accession, we're still suffering that the structure, the dialogue, how we deal with the experts on environmental issue, on farming issues, on disability, women, youth issues, that it is a very fragmented, we don't really have a real system in Latvia. So actually, please use this great platform which you have. Use already the existing candidate members who join in and feed in the work which we have, the DAG representatives. There are all these strange short abbreviations which we use on European level. Use already this now for training purposes to do the real and big things which are already starting now, because you can have an impact on the realities already now, although perhaps theoretically you do not have the voting rights. So think of a structure, how to involve within the platform, how to share the information, because it is going to be so much information that there has to be some kind of, that's the issue about a secretariat which you need, that there is someone who helps. Okay, this is women or youth organization or environmental topic, then how to get those topics then to the person who is an expert, and how to get the message then back, translated in a EU slang, so to say, so it's understandable for us, and that we can include it in our official documents and propose it to the European Parliament and Commission and lobby for those issues. Structure is needed, secretariat is needed for the structure, and I hope Mr. Tang still hears me. I think that this is a European joint interest, that there is a secretariat and that there should be funds for a secretariat really coordinating a good Ukrainian input in the decisions which are done. I see Mr. Tang, is there a chance to get some funds, just to get already perhaps one already result for it? Because the resolution from the civil society side asks for funds, but doesn't ask explicitly for a structure and a secretariat. Is there a chance, and when, and what do we have to do as civil society to make this reality?
Look, if I may, Madam Chair, to intervene here on a slightly provocative question by Andris. I'm not in the position at this stage to promise any funding, and I know, but we are aware of this request, but you have to keep working on this so that decisions could be made. But I hear you, and I will pass this again. I mean, you have raised it before, so I pass this message on. I mean, overall, of course, we have quite a substantial portfolio of supporting civil society in Ukraine. I mean, we also try to focus really on supporting the organizations in Ukraine. So when the resources are limited, then always our weight will be on that. So I think this is something to need to be aware as well.
But even more important it is to coordinate, and coordination work, yes, which is done by the platform in an excellent manner. That's where actually our focus should go in, and hopefully as well. I see Reinis is joining as well. We need really a support of a coordinated civil society secretariat and coordination of this input, because you do great job, but you do it voluntarily. That's not right. That's actually, it is a full-time job to get good quality coordination work. And I think you can be even more self-confident in your resolution in next time in saying, we want this secretariat, we want this structure to be set up actually in all neighboring countries. So that was one of the mistakes which we did in Latvia. We did not have a structure. We still don't have it. And we're at this moment in a worse situation than other countries, small countries who have more impact as they are better coordinated. So that's first. Then second, just I'll try to be fast to finish up the key remarks, and my time is already long over. So sorry for that. The second is and that is a great thing which you have in the resolution, is diaspora involvement. Diaspora can play key roles in two different ways. They are the ears and eyes, how things go in different countries. But the approach of civil society should be that you approach your former members to get into the networks of European big civil society networks, even into ministries, because there are a lot of Ukrainians with dual passports. So you can be in Latvian administration, you can be in French, in German administration, learn how they do the things, and then you have, well, it will be much easier because it is going to be a race like hell. It will be crazy. You won't have the time really to breathe. It will be so fast to get all the decisions made. And that's where you will need the competence. But you have to focus not to work in a supermarket at a cash, but aim high, go to the ministry, go to the city council, go to a civil society organization, apply for the director, secretary general positions, for high positions, because this information will be needed. And that was a bit chaotic as well in Latvia, which we did not do. So I think that is a second lesson to be provided by my side. And and the third is already prepare now and use the potential of your candidate countries, candidates in the Economic and Social Committee. We will have a meeting beginning of December, and I will propose a way, although theoretically now the participation is only on a few documents, but I would say I have open ears, I have open eyes, as Reinis has in the European Parliament. If you come with suggestions, if I know about those suggestions, I can propose them. It doesn't have to be an official process. I can already now feed in Ukrainian interests in the documents, and I'm quite sure that Reinis will do the same in the European Parliament if we know about those needs. But then they have to be in a language which some French or Spanish people might understand as well, which means not only English language, but a little bit, the terminology, where again a secretariat or some kind of structure might be needed. Sorry for talking too long.
Пане Андрісе, щиро вам дякую навіть за те,
Andres,
що
would
ви
like to thank you
перетворюєте
very much
наш оцей
for
майданчик
turning our
комунікаційний можливість для
communication
можливості задавати
platform for the
питання
opportunity
представникам
to ask
Європейської комісії. Сподіваюся,
questions
що
to
це стане
European
нашою
Commission.
хорошою
I
традицією
think that would
зустрічатися
become a
в
good
такому колі, де є
tradition for
багато
us
зацікавлених осіб, де ми
to
зможемо
have
обговорювати ті
meetings with
питання, які
many
нас всіх
stakeholders
дуже хвилюють.
to
І насправді ви
discuss
задали моє
our
питання, яке я
concern.
хотіла
But
вам задати,
actually,
власне,
you responded
поділитися
to my
досвідом вашої
question to
країни,
share the
яка також
experience of your
мала за свій
country
євроінтеграційний шлях. Тому
on the
дякую вам, що ви з
European
нами
Union path.
поділилися.
Thank you for
Сподіваюся, це
sharing
нам
this already
допоможе
with us. I
уникнути
hope that
цих
would be
помилок і
helpful
рухатися
and will make
до
less
Європейського Союзу.
mistakes
Дякую
on
вам. А
your
зараз я до
session.
слова хочу
Now
запросити
I would
Наталю
like to
Андрусевич, яка є
invite
представницею
Natalia
ресурсно-аналітичного
Andrusevich,
центру
who is
суспільства
the
та
Resource
довкілля.
Analytics
Також пані Наталя є
Center rep.
координаторкою
She's
робочої
the
групи ПРИ,
coordinator of the
форуму
Working Group
громадянського
3
суспільства
of
Східного
Eastern
партнерства.
Partnership
Наталю, моє
Forum.
питання до вас.
Natalia, my
Однією
question
з
to
тем
you.
саміту
One
була
of
зелена
the
реконструкція
subjects of
України.
the
Як має
summit,
змінитися політика Східного
recovery
партнерства, щоб
construction of
допомогти відновити
Ukraine,
Україну,
how the
на вашу думку?
policy of European Union should
Дякую,
change
дякую,
to
Ірино.
help with
Доброго
recovery
дня,
of
шановні
Ukraine.
колеги.
Thank you,
Мабуть, почну
Irina.
декілька
Dear
слів, оскільки
colleagues,
в нас
let
підсумки саміту, так,
we're
почну
basically
з такого більш
discussing the
стратегічного
summary of the
підходу.
summit. Let
Те,
me
що ми
start with the
маємо в нашому
strategic
стратегічному
approach.
плані
What
як
we have in our
два
strategic
основних напрямки
plan
нашої
are two
діяльності
main
на наступні роки,
areas
так, це
for the
відбудова
upcoming years:
України, і тут,
recovery
власне,
of
і питання зеленої
Ukraine
відбудови
and
України,
green
і
recovery
вступ України до
and
Європейського
EU
Союзу. І, власне, якщо ми
accession.
дивимося на
If we look at
саміт, який
the
завершився, так, то можна
summit,
сказати, що в таких
we may
трьох
say
основних
that
напрямках були
in three
враховані ці
main
наші
areas, they
пріоритети нашої
considered our
платформи, зокрема
priorities
ці
for our
заходи, які ми
platform
робили, так,
through the
тому що всі наші меседжі, які
activities.
звучали під
All
час
our
заходів,
messages
стосувалися
during
і
the event
відбудови,
refer
і
to
завершення війни, і
recovery
вступу
and the end
України до
of
Європейського
war
Союзу.
in
Це
the
був
EU
один
accession.
напрямок.
That was one
Другий
stream. The
напрямок
next
це,
stream
власне,
was
резолюція.
the
Про
resolution
неї вже Руслан
itself.
згадував.
Ruslan mentioned
Містить
it
багато
already.
важливих
It
питань,
includes
і,
lots
зокрема,
of
і ті, які
important
є важливими для
issues
української
which
делегації.
are
Українська делегація
important
була дуже
for
активна в
Ukrainian
тому, щоб
delegation, which was
адвокувати,
very
так, ці
active
всі
to
питання, які ми
advocate
хотіли,
for
щоб були,
all
власне,
the
в
issues which
резолюції. І
we
третій
wanted to be in
напрямок,
the
він був
resolution. And the
такий більш
third
не
stream was not very public, but this is our position document, which we prepared that after war recovery of Ukraine, it should be included in the future activities of Eastern Partnership, that the policy should be reformed and should consider safety issues which cannot be ignored when we talk about the Eastern Partnership, to ignore Russia aggression. And that refers not only to Ukraine, but the whole region. And secondly, the needs which we already have and we will have after the war is over. We're talking about planning, implementation of the recovery. So when we develop the position document and approach the members of the platform about their priorities and how that can be implemented in future initiatives in Eastern Partnership Forum and funding programs. Of course, safety comes first for everyone, but other issues are in the competence of the organizations which work on the specific issues. For someone, it's energy, for someone, environment or economy, but lots of attention was paid to the main principle for the recovery, that greener than it was before. So green issues are cross-cutting throughout the resolution, the position document, and the presentations. Everything is very much interrelated. Whether we need first of all from Russia, Europe does not need Eastern Partnership country does not. We support green development of energy. So those links are cross-cutting. But finally, I realized that our time is limited. I think we'll make a summary, but we need to understand that we cannot work on summits or assembly meetings. The work should go throughout the year, and the documents which we develop, the position document, the resolution, should be used in our advocacy campaigns, in the discussions, which we hope will start beginning of next year on the expansion of European Union and the reform of Eastern Partnership policy. Thank you very much for the key highlights. Especially I like the idea that we should work every day, not from session to session. And would like to thank the whole delegation for very well-tuned work. We managed to do a lot, even more than we planned. Now we would like to pass the microphone to Lasha Tegnusha, who is the co-chair of the forum. My question to you, the resolution which considers Russia the main threat for Eastern Partnership. As a co-chair, may promote fighting for the interest of Ukraine, getting to the victory over Russia.
Thank you, Irina, to your question, and yes, it's a very important question. But before, I'd like to say to send my best to the Ukrainian colleagues and friends. It's a really honor to me to be with you, and my best regards from the Tbilisi. You know, we have quite serious problems, and we lost unfortunately many things, but I think I hope not lost everything, and we are struggling now, and I hope we will win, because to us also it's very important to win with Russia. I come back to your question, because I agree with you. Russia is main obstacle to Georgia, to Ukraine, to other Eastern Partnership countries, and they what happened now in Georgia. This is for sure, to me, it's Russia's operation. Okay, I try to go to the other topic, General Assembly Summit, and of the Eastern Partnership Civil Society Forum. First one, what I want to say, this is recognizing the role of civil society as a driving force for the reforms in the Eastern Partnership countries. I think it's a very important, because we have our war. We struggle in our past, in our tools, with our tools, and we also need to win our war. It's very important. That's why I think the resolution is good in this regard, because there are serious understanding how important is in the path of European integration, a role of the civil society. If we look over the resolution, Ukraine is the main inspirer of both the essence and content of the resolution. The whole resolution is imbued with ideas of protecting the interests of Ukraine, not only Eastern Partner countries, but I'd like to stay in the Ukrainian case, because Ukrainian case is very special, very different, because Ukraine are in the war. That's why Ukraine is the main inspirer of both essence again and content of the resolution. I'd like to divide the issue of Ukraine into parts. First one is political support. What its parts within the resolution. First one is political support on different platforms. Second one is military support. If you look over the resolution, there are quite important topics in regard of NATO, in regard of special measures to the Ukraine. Third one is economic social support to the Ukraine. I think it's also is very important. Fourth one is the restoration of infrastructure. They include different spheres of infrastructure, which also is very important to Ukraine. Fifth is new vision of security, and we try, when we are worked for this resolution, we try to put their new strategical visions, especially in light of security. And I think it's quite interesting document. This position paper is quite interesting in regard of security. Also, there are also different dimensions. For instance, Black Sea security, the dimension of human security, energy security, economical security, etc., which means to need to elaborate as soon as possible new strategical documents in regard of security, because security is one of the main issues which joined together us toward the European integration also, because it's equal issues. Next one is acceleration of the pace of accession to the EU, and I just recently listened some skeptical words like the process needs time. You know, it's not easy. Somehow you are not so not so good, etc., etc. It's I think it's main mistake. Or why? Why? Because it's not possible. By my point, it's my point. No possible now talk with the Ukrainians about timing. You know, they should accelerate the accession process. It's very clear to me. If you are talking like in the same issues, what we seen in 2004, before when the Europe to come the broader, it's a huge mistake, because it's absolutely different case. Because in Russia not sleep if they postpone but with the strategical reasons, and somehow it will be very serious mistake, huge mistake. And last
Пане
point
Лаше,
is
та щиро вам дякую за вашу
I would
позицію,
like
за
to
вашу
thank you, Lasha, for
виваженість. Дійсно,
your
питання
position, for
безпеки,
your
захисту
vision.
основним
Indeed,
є
the safety issue is
Ми
very
бачили
important
на
in this region,
нашому
and within
саміті,
our
наскільки різні треки
summit,
і
with
особливості
different
кожної країни
tracks
Східного
and the
партнерства зараз є,
specifics of every
але
country from
буквально підкреслено,
European
що лише
Eastern
спільно,
Partnership. But you are
лише
absolutely
разом
right
ми
that
зможемо
jointly,
кожен на своєму
being
місці подолати цього
together,
ворога.
we will be able
Дійсно,
to
кожен на
beat
своїй
this
хвилі
yes.
enemy, and
інтегруватися в Європейський
everyone
Союз.
with
Щиро
his
вам
own
дякую
pass
за
can
вашу
accept it.
підтримку,
Would
за
like
те,
to
що
thank you for your
резолюція насправді є
support,
такою,
and
якою вона зараз
the
є у
resolution
нас
is
в межах нашого
indeed
регіону.
is the
У нас
one.
досить мало
Yeah.
часу, і
Sorry,
зараз
our
хочу
time
запросити до
is
слова Сінтію
limited. Now
Бернаву,
we'd
яка
like
є
Yeah.
to
новою
invite
управлінням
Cindy Bernau,
Доном Анімус, представницею
and
форуму
Thank you.
громадянського суспільства
Anonymous.
Східного партнерства від Європейського Союзу у платформі
She
громадянського суспільства
is
Україна-ЄС.
She's
Пані
a woman
Сінтія,
for
як
the
представник
Dominant.
форуму,
And there, as a
як ви
representative of the
оцінюєте підтримку України
forum,
з боку
how you
організацій громадянського
assess
суспільства
this
Європейського Союзу?
support for civil society organization from the European Union side?
Dear, dear Irina, thank you. Dear Ruslan and the rest of the colleagues, distinguished speakers, thank you for having me. I'm in a region with a very terrible internet, so I will not switch my camera so to not lose a connection with you. Sorry for that. Thank you for this very good question. The civil society plays a really very crucial role indeed. And in this situation as well, it has become one of the key pillars to contribute the victory of Ukraine, and also strengthening this political dialogue regarding the accession of Ukraine to the European Union as well, and also maintaining this social stability during the war and preparing for the post-war recovery. And let me remind some of the aspects already Lasha mentioned before regarding Russia. To this day, since 2014, Russia has murdered thousands of civilians, including the children, and it continues to deportations, including Crimean Tatars, as well as stolen Ukrainian children from the occupied territories to Russia, to the third countries. And it's also our responsibility to remind the world that Ukrainian children must be returned to Ukraine. And also, let me use this opportunity simply to remind that every United Nations member state is under an obligation to respect the principles set out in the United Nations Charter on ensuring territorial integrity of states, safeguarding peace and security both in the region and globally. But what we see in the reality, and it's completely different. Also, I would like to remind one important aspect. It's about the members of United Nations Security Council, especially the permanent ones, for ensuring peace. So the security and defense, this is a basis for economic growth and prosperity. And we need strong alliances and very clear commitments to each other. And also, as regards to this military assistance to Ukraine, the Baltics and the Nordic region is the second biggest military aid providers after US to Ukraine. It is very important to have more like-minded partners, also beyond the borders of the European Union, aware of the importance of the rules-based international order to achieve concrete results in the areas such as peace, stability, inclusive and sustainable society, also environmental issues which were addressed during these interventions as well, health, education, and very many other areas. And also we must work even more closer to our partners and allies around the world to have more partners in all continents, because this peace and this prosperity, it's something what we cannot achieve only working alone. We need partners everywhere. And we must also make progress in establishing a special tribunal with cross-regional support to hold aggressor accountable. And every frozen aggressor's asset has to be used to rebuild what has been destroyed in Ukraine. And this is what we need to continue to do, and also to provide all support needed. And what we do all our best, pushing also our allies and partners to do the same around the world. And also, I would like to mention one important aspect. We will never recognize this illegal annexation of Crimea or any other region of Ukraine. And we believe in a world where Ukraine is prevailed, part of European Union and NATO. And we will continue to support Ukraine with all the resources available to us until your complete victory. Slava Ukraini!
Дякуємо, пані Сінтія, за те, що
Thank
підняли
you,
дуже
Cynthia,
важливі
for bringing up
аспекти.
very
Насправді,
important
у нас залишилося
aspects.
буквально
We
декілька
have
хвилин.
a
Я ще
couple of
хочу
minutes
запросити до
left, and I would
слова
like to
Ярослава
invite
Морозова, який є
Yaroslav
асистентом програми
Morozov. He
обміну
is
і
a
стажування
program
молодіжної громадської
assistant.
активності. Пане Ярославе, резолюція
Yaroslav,
підкреслює
the
важливість
resolution
мобільності,
highlights the
залучення
importance
молоді
of
до розробки і
mobility
реалізації
engagement of
різноманітних
youth
політик
for the
Європейського
development of
Союзу.
different
Які, на
policy
вашу
in
думку,
European.
пріоритетні напрямки
What are
залучення
the
української молоді до
priority
процесу розширення
areas
ЄС?
to engage
Дуже вас
youth
попрошу
for you
коротко, буквально декілька таких основних тез.
enlargement?
Дякую.
Just in thesis,
Дуже
if
дякую,
it's
пані
okay.
Ірино, за задане питання. Перш за все, хочу
Thank
подякувати
you, Irina, for your
Сінтію,
questions. I
українській
would
ініціативній
like
платформі за
to thank
перш за все
for the
включення у дискусію
invitation
молодіжного
and thank for
питання молоді
including
під важливим
youth
і
component into this
дуже
discussion,
хочу також
participation of
подякувати за
youth.
відмічення молодіжного
So
компоненту і
like
в
that
резолюції.
you
Це є дуже важливо.
highlighted the
Щодо
youth component into the resolution. On the
буквально
priority
дві тези, які я
areas,
хотів
just
зазначити на
a couple of
початку. Ми всі
theses.
повинні розуміти,
We
що
should
зараз кінець 24-го
understand
року,
now is
до
the end of
моменту,
the
коли
year
Україна, ну, звісно,
24
будемо сподіватися, що
till
це відбудеться якомога швидше, але до
Ukraine
моменту, коли Україна
becomes a
вступить до
member,
Європейського Союзу,
full-scale
дехто
member.
називає дату 2030
Someone
рік, будемо сподіватися
mentions the year
найшвидше.
2030. Maybe
Молодь,
it'll
ті,
happen
хто зараз підпадає під
sooner.
категорію молоді,
So
до того
the
моменту
youth,
вже
the
будуть
current
достатньо
youth
кваліфікованими, як по
would
віку, так і
be
по досвіду, займати важливі посади
rather
в публічному
qualified
управлінні як на
and
національному
would
рівні, так і на рівні Європейського Союзу. Тому
hold
нам
their
дуже
position
важливо
kind of
залучати молодь до
the
цих
European
процесів,
Union and
надавати якісну освіту молоді,
Ukraine and so.
оскільки
So we need
ми
to
в цьому аспекті
provide
може навіть
good
трошки
education
відстаємо.
to the youth.
Я
Maybe
зараз
we're
почув сьогодні
lacking
дослідження, і
behind.
на одній з конференцій, я хотів би
One
зацитувати
of the
цю тезу, яка була озвучена,
conferences,
про те,
I've
що
heard
ми
the
зараз,
statement that
молодь,
we now,
звичайно,
the
займаємося тим, що
current
вивчаємо
youth,
право
are
Європейського Союзу,
learning
основні
the
напрямки,
lore of European
ієрархію,
Union,
і так
the
далі, тобто
hierarchy,
основи.
and other
В той
things, the
час як
basic.
молодь в країнах Європейського Союзу,
In the
зокрема в
European
Україні,
Union, the
вони
EU
ці цінності
citizens,
фактично виростають, живуть, і вони
basically they
безпосередньо втілюють ці
grow
цінності.
in those
І нам це
values,
відставання необхідно
and
скоротити,
we
і
need
відповідно
to
я хотів
cover
окреслити
this
3
gap.
напрямки для скорочення цього
So
відставання,
how
аби
to
ми вже
reduce
світоглядно
this
вийшли на
gap,
рівень
that we have the
Європейського
same
Союзу. Перший
vision.
напрямок це освіта.
The first,
З одного боку,
education.
очевидно, але з іншого треба розуміти, що
We
в
need to
освітньому компоненті
understand
є
that an
декілька напрямків.
education
Це
component, there
формальний
might be several
компонент,
streams: formal
школа,
education,
університет, різні
schools,
освітні програми і
university,
неформальний,
different
тобто різноманітні тренінги,
and
конференції, семінари. В
informal,
цьому аспекті
different
хотілося
training
акцентувати увагу на
seminars,
в напрямку Erasmus+. Це дуже
Erasmus
важлива підтримка від
Plus,
Європейського
a
Союзу. Це
very
академічні
important
обміни, тренінги,
support from
воркшопи,
European
програми
Union
волонтерства.
workshop,
Коли
volunteer
наша українська
program.
молодь
When
їде
our
до країн
Ukrainian
Європейського
youth
Союзу,
goes to EU
спілкується з
countries,
громадянами ЄС, дізнається про
communicates,
різні сучасні
then
статті,
learns
на власному
more
досвіді
about
відчуває
this,
цю
and
цінність,
as
свободу,
a chance to feel as a free movement of people,
товарів, капіталу і так далі. Це все
goods,
підтримується на
capital.
особистому досвіді, і
This
далі
is through
транслюється
personal
офлайн в
experience
Україні на своїх
and be
ровесників, колег,
interpreted
сім'ї і так далі.
coming back
Тому
home
це дуже
to
важливо.
their
Другий компонент
families or
це
their local
медійний
peers.
громадянський активізм.
The
Це може бути як через
movement
медійні
of
громадські організації,
activism
ініціативи, рухи,
through
але й також
different movements, different
хотів би
youth
звернути увагу на
initiatives,
залучення молоді до програм
engagement of
стажувань
youth to
державних
the
органів.
internship
Ми в
program
Європейських
in
Радах, як ви зазначили,
government
є підтримком цієї
institutions.
програми. І що ми робимо? Ми залучаємо активну
We
молодь, переважно
engage
студентів
active
закладів вищої освіти,
youth,
університетів, до
mostly
стажувань державних
university
органів. І от
students, to
саме зараз
internship
у нас
at
проходить
the
стажування таких
government
молодих людей,
institutions.
які стажуються в Українському офісі координації європейської та
And
євроатлантичної інтеграції. Тобто вони, ще будучи студентами, вже
some
отримують цей досвід
students already gain
євроінтеграційних процесів,
the European
процесу наближення законодавства України до законодавства
Union
права ЄС.
accession program because
Так,
they
тобто вони
are
отримують цей
interns
досвід вже
in
зараз, і
the
потім,
EU
коли вони йдуть в
coordination
університети,
office.
оскільки
So
влаштовуються
after
на
the
роботу, вони зможуть цей
graduation,
досвід застосовувати
they'll
на
be
практиці.
able to
І
use
третій
this experience and
заключний
and the
це
third
більш такий систематизований
statement,
рівень
more
залучення молоді до роботи в
systemic
публічному секторі.
engagement
Тобто
of
маю на
youth in the
увазі
public
залучення молоді саме
sector.
на роботу,
I
на
mean,
посади в міністерствах,
for the
державних органах,
employment at the
органах
ministries,
місцевого
the
самоврядування, в
government
тому числі. Для того, щоб
offices,
молодь
local
фактично
council,
своєю присутністю
that
в
use with
процесі
its
політики,
presence
скажімо,
during the
омолоджувала, так,
decision-making
політику,
presence
власний процес. І
bring
будучи залученими
the
зараз в цьому
process
процесі, вони здобудуть
younger,
необхідний
and
досвід, і вже до
now
моменту
they'll get
вступу та
more
подальшого
experience.
перебування в
And
складі
with the
Європейського Союзу, вони вже будуть достатньо
further,
кваліфікованими
when we are the
професіоналами, які
members
зможуть
of the
ці
European
знання
Union,
навички
we'll have
застосовувати на практиці.
good
На
professionals.
цьому в мене
This
все.
is
Ще
all
раз
from my
дуже дякую
side.
за запрошення
Thank
і
you very much
радий
for the invitation.
долучатися до цього релевантно з точки зору
Stand ready
молодіжного
to
напрямку до вашої роботи.
continue any discussion, especially when the use component is there. Let's be in touch. It's important to engage youth to all the process, especially EU accession, not only on the national level, on the regional level. We plan to have more events to discuss issues of the regional issues, EU integration. Dear colleagues, our time is all over. Sorry, we'll skip Q&A session. I think this event, the beginning of good start, good launch, where we were able to highlight the issues which we need to discuss at the field. I think that the communication platform would be very useful thanks to the representative European Commission, European Parliament. Because at the meetings like this, we are able to hear one another and express. I see one hand being risen. Tamara, brief comment, because I would like for closing remarks ask Ruslan to take a microphone after Tamara. It's not a remark. Lots of thanks to our colleagues from Tamara, especially Cynthia and Andreas for their support, site organizations in the platform. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Tamara. I would like to thank our dear speakers for joining us. Ruslan, closing remarks, and all the best from Irina. Looking forward to good cooperation on our steady movement towards European. Thanks for being with us.
Дякую, Ірино. Зі свого боку хочу
Ruslan,
подякувати
thanks to
модератору
Irina.
Ірині за
Ruslan would like to thank the moderator for the preparation
Дякую
of this
усім
event.
нашим
I'd like to thank
спікерам,
all our
нашим справжнім
speakers,
друзям за те,
our
що ви
real
сьогодні були з
friends
нами
for being with us today
підказуєте нам, як
and
правильно
provide your
діяти, як нам
support
ефективніше використати наш час, бо час у нас
efficiently use
найбільш
our
критичний
time
ресурс нашого
because
мало,
time
його
is
маємо
a
використати
critical
найбільш ефективно.
resource which we need to use
Я
very
зі свого
efficiently.
боку
From my side,
лише хотів би зазначити, що
just
ми будемо вас
mention
запрошувати,
that
що ви
we
відкриті
will
до подальшого діалогу. Ми
keep
будемо
inviting you.
вас
We're open
питати,
for
так як нам тут
so
Андріас порадив,
Andres,
що не соромтесь,
already
питайте
mentioned,
нас, ми будемо вас питати.
encourage us not to
Ми
be
будемо
shy.
тримати
No, we
вас
are
на
not going to
крузі,
be
тому
shy.
що в
So
нас немає
we'll
іншого виходу.
keep
Ми
the
маємо
contact. We have
боротися
no
за
other
перемогу
way
в
out.
цій
We should
війні і
fight for the
за
victory in
найскоріше
this
членство в
war
Європейському
and the
Союзі.
sooner
Дякую за
membership
те,
in the
що ви
European
до нас
Union.
доєдналися,
Thanks for
поділилися
joining
своїми
us. Thanks
думками
for
за війну в
sharing
Україні.
your
І ще раз
ideas.
нагадую, що 13 грудня у
On
нас буде
December
офлайн захід
13,
платформи,
we
який
plan to have
підсумує
an offline event
вашу
in
діяльність у
Kyiv
2024
to kind
році.
of make
Запрошуємо,
a
слідкуйте за
summary for our
нашими
activities during the
ресурсами
year
більш детально
2024.
про
You're welcome to follow
підсумки
our
саміту опубліковано
resources.
на нашому
There's a
сайті. Заходьте на наш
publication
сайт,
you
є огляд
can
як українською
find
мовою, так і
on
англійською
our
мовою.
website. It's in English and
Так що,
Ukrainian. There's a
хто не є
review.
членом платформи,
Those
будь
who are
ласка,
not the members of
долучайтеся,
the
вступайте в
platform,
нашу
you
платформу,
are
і будемо
welcome to
разом
join
рухати
us on the
Україну
platform.
вперед і до
Let's move
перемоги.
forward towards the
Дякую всім,
victory.
дякую нашим
Thank you very
захисникам
much.
за можливість
And let's
проведення
thank
цього
our
заходу.
defenders for the
Дякую
opportunity to
Інституту
have this.
економічних
I'd like
досліджень,
to
який
thank
нас
to the
підтримує
Institute
і допомагає
Economic
платформі
Studies, which provides their
ефективно
assistance to the
працювати.
platform
Сподіваюся,
to work
ефективно.
efficiently. Hope we are working efficiently.
Дякую вам, як національному
Would like
координатору, за
to
те, що
thank National
координуєте
Coordinator
діяльність
for
усіх
the
наших
coordination
організацій,
of all our
сприяєте нашому
organizations for
розвитку
the
і
support for
допомагаєте,
development,
наближуєте нас усіх
bring
до
us
Європейського
closer
Союзу. Колеги,
to
всім
European
дякую.
Union.
Наш час на сьогодні
Our
вичерпано,
time
але
is
як анонсував пан
over.
Руслан,
But
13
as
грудня
Ruslan
в Києві
mentioned,
чекаємо
December
всіх. Слідкуйте
13
за
in
анонсами на сторінці
Kyiv will
української
have an
національної
event.
платформи.
You're welcome
Дякую
to
усім
follow
мирного, спокійного вечора.
the announcements on the
Дякую.
Facebook page. Thank you.
Дякую.